Greetings everyone, and Great here for another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the south side is Blue Moon Andy, you got mooji6. Spawn on the north side is Jade Sun Lash, we got Raipika, I think. Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Either way, let's get started. This appeared to be a triple base map, one comm tower, safe comm tower for both sides, one airport in the center of the map. Will Andy figure out what an airport is? Next time, or the next turn, maybe. Looks like both players are heading quite down the center in order to capture up the central cities there. A decent amount of force here, so Lash's extra firepower bonuses may be more effective. And not to mention, her power will be a bit more useful. Does charge forward, does hit this infantry quite hard with a plus 30% firepower strike there, effectively nullifying the defense of that infantry unit there. And he does have a tank there. I also see there's a bit of shores here, which may be meant for actually, now think about it, this is 0 defense stars, so this is not necessarily to make like recons move faster after the forest, which may also do, it does also do that as well. But also defenses, so your opponent can't necessarily lock down this path with, or not easy, because it would be 0 defense stars, which means it's harder to lock it down, even with the plus 10% passive from planes. You have a mech down south. There's a decent amount of mountains map, that's definitely for sure. Notice the tank is trying to pursue this recon. If your unit does take a shot against the pipe seam, you monster. And this Lash mech maybe just mountain hopping. Nope. Another tank by a Lash there. Recon now heading over here. Has placed an infantry unit right here to protect the recon, because it would definitely be able to reach that tile there. So sacrifice a bit of infantry, keep the recon alive, which is better, at least numerically. Not great though. But back to an earlier point, with the amount of planes and forces in this map, terrain tactics is a bit more useful, but still not great. Takes time, double taps that pipe seam with the mech and the tank. That's interesting. Puts down 64 health. And Lash is making up trying to go for this comm tower. And he's got to give up the city to interrupt the capture. And of course, Lash did get a pretty good counterattack there. I don't think there's any way for any of these infantry units there to intercept the units there. Another tank there. But Lash will maintain one comm tower advantage. Great extra damage there. Infantry making its way down south, which could continuously apply pressure to prevent this comm tower from being captured by Andy. But I don't think Lash will be able to capture it. We do have an early battle copter in the field. Lash has gone for open battle copter as well. Brings back the tank there, trying to flip some properties. Maybe, I'm not sure of the mobility, but it's probably a better idea to flip the city than capture this one. But maybe it couldn't reach that far when first machine can capture. And Lash will lose his tank, or... oh! Looks like may have survived approximately 1% health. Will be able to put up to 3 health, which is still not great. Could just simply just run away and perhaps use it as bait. Down to 45 health there, max at 2 ammo. Okay, so that unit there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, these tanks are out of movement range, but it is in range of this battlecopter. Lash is rotating the battlecopter around. We'll be able to cover this tank. And Recon doing some work there. Has gotten a decent number of hits there. Don't think it's paid for itself, but definitely applied enough pressure to perhaps itself, in that case, pay for itself. Tank size sit on top of that beach, so Andy could get a shot there, then follow up with a regular tank shot. Can't say that'd be good. Does want to put in the battlecopter bit, but using a chain of battlecopters to win this fight, which is one way. And I was going to say this earlier. Lash technically won that fight, 0 defense stars versus 2 defense stars, minus 40%. And then add a bit of extra firepower there. Lash does also have 1 extra comm tower, so that's plus 30% firepower. minus 40% of that, which is approximately 8 plus 18% firepower, if my math is incorrect. Also, I don't know if the comp tower's power effect is multiplicative or geometric. Put some 3 units there. Probably go for another tank here, or yeah, probably another tank. Go for artillery. Wouldn't be in range of this, so probably be a tank. In terms of capture, very further, down with 6 capture progress remaining. There's 1 health there. So probably continue try to get the captures. Battlecopter strikes that pipe seam once again. Infantry unit tries to machine gun down, you monster. Interrupts that capture there with 5 health tank. Not greatly, but enough for now. Andy, he could try squeezing out power to get the city captured. Can't say if that'll be worth it, though there's a number of stuff in the field that is quite wounded. Decides to not drone capture, pulls it back there. Could pop power. Now both these will be captured next turn, 2 and 10. Makes some progress there. It starts capturing up this property as well. Battlecopter rotating around. Andy has definitely figured out what an airport is since he has 3 battlecopters in the field. Push way forward. Lash has now 2 anti-airs. Should have kept up the counter battlecopter tactics. Pipe scene goes down to the battlecopter. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. Artillery there. Takes a shot there at the pipe scene. That pipe scene has a lot of health remaining. Right now, Andy has 20,000 income. Lash has 21,000. So, and this tower is still despicably neutral. There's probably another neutral property somewhere. Where, I'm not sure. There's an odd amount of income. I just don't know where the odd property is for income. Comp towers don't provide income. Unless they do. I thought they don't. I may be going crazy. Lash has her terrain tactics, so could be useful on this map, as I mentioned earlier. It'll definitely allow her infantry to sprint across the mountain. Tank, infantry, anti-air. Machine guns the pipe scene quite significantly. Does use another mech shot there. Does get some strikes there. Lash says from 2000, so maybe there was a neutral property that was captured somewhere. Medium tank now deployed in the field. Mech infantry. Get some strikes on that comm tower. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, artillery. Lots of properties, so now they're equal income. Medium tank does get a strike there, but in range of mechs, or not a, yeah, it is in range of a mech, which could be on top of force for a 4-star strike if there's a prime tactics. We've got tanks and art and a battlecopter nearby. And the medium tank will take a beating, but deal a beating. Medium tank, infantry, mech. Looks like Lash, let's go and pull it back out of the decision. Artillery, battlecopter, infantry, and a recon. As well as terrain tactics and prime tactics, the recons can move very quickly, so she can utilize them in non-fog war. I mentioned there's actually a decent amount of roads that the blue is on to receive the recon shots. Recon's not a bad option, just a relatively weak option. Or more precisely, a 4,000 fund weak option. Medium tanks are pushed right forward, so Andy's going for a good number of medium tanks. Remember as well, if they stay alive, they can stay absolutely alive. Artillery, battlecopter, infantry, mech. Right now, Indians turn for 152, Lash turn 151, so they're pretty even day-to-day difference. Now, I'm so surprised we didn't see, like, there's a 3-star property there. This mech could have gone on top of the 3-star property and get a pretty boosted strike on medium tank. I probably would have done that. That would definitely be cost effective. Maybe if she's worried about the power or superpower, she's trying to finish off one turn. But even then, I would still probably do it. It would definitely force the power earlier. After all, Andy's superpower is nice, gives +10 to firepower and +1 movement global, as well as 5 healing, but you try to get a lot of stuff wounded before that point. Finish off 2 off tank there. Remember as well, the extra prop. Oh, 4-star property. This could be 8-star mech hitting a medium tank. Either of these medium tanks go, one's on top of 3-star property, one's on top of 1-star plane. In fact, there could be 2 of those. I think she really should eye for Prime Tactics. Get ultra boosted mech shots onto medium tanks. I am curious how much that is, if you don't mind. What does that look like? It goes from 20 to 28. Actually, not as much as I actually expected. One combat still neutral, and Andy has trying to flip this combat. Will be interrupted. Fully stopped. Couple recons up there. Thomas Rhodes, which helps the recons move. Doesn't help Lash fight. But no mech shots into those medium tanks. I'm really surprised it's only... They didn't improve as much the firepower as I expected. Battlecopter, anti-air infantry. Looks like just overall rotating around. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter, but could be hit by anti-air, which could result in Prime Tactics. She just needs, what, 9,000 more damage, roughly? Of course, that would be 18,000, since it would be double times 2. Sacks a battlecopter there. And that's Andy's superpower. Tank on tank. And here comes the Prime Tactics. Granted, none of these artillery's in range, but we'll see the boosted mechs. No, though not necessarily right here. Got perfect movement and super high firepower. Anti-air strikes mech. Tank strikes artillery. Almost one-shots it. How lucky or unlucky was that? It's on top of 3-star versus 3-star, so 6 defense stars. Yep, it was not a one-shot. Recon will finish off though. Tank will strike tank. Try and flip that property there, which of course with 6 defense stars, it'll be quite significant. I wonder, will this actually... Yep. Still would do it. Decides not to take a mech shot there. It would drain some funds, though it is an Andy superpower, so a lot of this stuff will be healed up quite nicely. Actually, a fair amount of stuff will be healed up quite nicely. Lash ends turn of 198. Andy starts turn 156. I'm assuming he's going to be superpower this turn. Is he not using superpower this turn? I guess he wants the extra fire capability without the double defense. Infantry did get hit hard there. So he's not using superpower this turn. Mech gets a good strike there. 0 defense stars, so it means 0 times 2 is still 0. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, infantry. Mech gets a nice booster strike there. Could try trapping that medium tank. Could put an infantry unit here and here. And get the artillery in range. Try to flip that property there. The medium tank is technically trapped, but it can easily be broken. This is a 3 health tank there. I would take this full health infantry unit there and put it right here. And it looks like Lash is pulling back a little bit there. Tank, battlecopter, artillery, infantry. Double weights. Yeah, an infantry unit here would... Oh wait, no, there's still the exit right there, so never mind, it would not be a trap. Of course, the medium tank's been staying out of range of the artillery, it's been quite important. Readjusting everything. Tank, battlecopter, infantry, artillery. Good shot down there. Battlecopter strikes infantry. Tank strikes recon. Tank strikes artillery. I go for another flip there. Recon, medium tank, infantry. And he starts turn 182 for stated days, so it's effectively 120 versus 131. He still has a superpower. Some minor picks there. Battlecopter's getting pretty low in fuel. That medium tank is in range of the artillery. There'll be 1 star with firepower bonuses. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, infantry. Some picks there. Battlecopter strikes that medium tank, down to 2 health now. Battlecopter strikes a medium tank, knocks it out. There's the battlecopter there. Remember, this is all power charge that Andy is not receiving. And Lash is generating a decent amount of power charge now. Pops terrain tactics. So Lash got an eye for offense up here for extra mobility. He gives her perfect movement, there's a lot of stuff there that can make use of it, that's for sure, particularly the recons. Does strike the battlecopter there. Hits another tank. Infantry strikes infantry. Infantry strikes infantry. Allows for infantry to sprint across the mountains. Recon strikes mech. Takes it out. So a decent terrain tactics. Just wasn't expecting it. Anti-air, battlecopter, infantry, infantry. Also gives her a plus 10% defense to work with this turn. And there's the superpower. Went from 142 to 161. He's still pretty far behind, but he does, of course, have plus 10% firepower and plus 1 movement. And that movement does affect the infantry as well. Lots of picks over here. Lash was hyper aggressive, which means she's vulnerable to a counterattack. Your opponent's most vulnerable after being attacking and during their attack in most games and situations. Anti-air, tank, infantry. Instead of 170, Lash return 171, so they're pretty even the moment. Of course, Andy will have plus 20% firepower, plus 10% defense this turn. Battlecopter sacks itself on Battlecopter. Anti-air strikes Battlecopter, knocks it out. Tank on mech. Infantry on mech. Tank on tank. Battlecopter on tank. Lots of good hits there. Artillery striking everything. And what's left of Battlecopters are as well. Looks like Andy lost quite a bit over there. The artillery just had everything in range. Mech even got a first good strike there. Merge there, and another strike there. Andy has right now 115. Anti-air battlecopter infantry. Andy starts the turn with 113 plus a day-to-day, so effectively 135 versus 180. Andy's very far behind. His own artillery is in range of the anti-air and will strike some infantry units there. Only thing to help stabilize this region right now is the medium tank. Has some assets along with it, but Lash is making great headway here. I think she could start trying to go towards HQ. Now terrain tax is available. A lot of battlecopters down here as well. Don't know if any of these anti-airs will be able to range it even with terrain taxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Mech, infantry, battlecopter, and tank. Anti-air strike infantry. Battlecopters will knock out that artillery for the most part. And that comm tower is still neutral, so Lash has been having +1 comm tower this entire game. And Lash could claim the other comm tower. Right now she also has 25,000 funds for 17. That's quite significant. She's not been neglectful for her capture game. Anti-air battlecopter, tank, infantry. Well, not machine gun down the tank. I thought it would go down. You could see a prime tactics next turn. Prime tactics is available. Good strikes there. This medium tank is ranged by 3, potentially 6-star artillery piece. Not to mention a mech nearby to follow up with a 2-star at least. And here comes the superpower. Medium time machine gun shots there. Does not take out that tank there. Anti-air creep his way forward, trying to ward away the battlecopter. Good shots there, infantry. Take them out, prevents the flip. Do have another hyper upgrade available, but looks like Lash is over one-shotting everything. Not leaving any much left for repairs. Can repair up a couple tanks down here, but it'll be 1 health and 5 health. And it starts the turn with 92 plus 16 day-to-day, not too much for 187, and hits the resign button. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.